So let's go ahead and move on to Super Smash Bros. Melee. So, what were your thoughts the first time you played this one?
Let's see. Well, okay, so I know I played this one a bunch at my friend's house as well. Smash Bros is just that kind of game. You play it at your friend's house. I remember not this isn't a playing thing, but one of the conversations I remember before I'd ever played it or anything, my friend had it and we were talking about it, and his big thing was like he was bragging about how awesome the graphics were. And I remember him saying this. He's like, "You can even see the brand on Mario's overalls." And I asked, like, "Oh, okay, well, what's the brand?" And he's like, "Nintendo." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that figures." And it's true. You can see it yourself. Examine Mario's pants in depth in Melee, and you'll see that he buys Nintendo brand only. But yeah, I mean, I remember playing it, and it's such a big, crazy step up from 64. I think the first thing that stands out is just the crazy roster. Which, I mean, I know we have a bigger roster now, but like it was such a step up. It was 8 in the original game, and how many in this one? 20 something?
25. Yeah.
25. So what was your first experiences?
Ooh, man, Melee is such a nostalgic one for me. Like the way I first played it is so weird. Like I was at some person's house. I believe I was going with my parents to friends of my parents' house, and like, obviously I'm not going to talk to the adults. I was like 9, 10 years old at the time. Like when I played Smash 64, it was only a couple years before Melee came out. So I was at this person's house. I wish I remembered who it was. And I walked into this someone's room, and Mailee was just there. And I saw a GameCube controller. I'm like, oh my god, is this the new GameCube console? And I saw the game, and I looked at the roster. I'm like, oh my god, Bowser and Peach are in Smash Bros. And then I played it, and after like 2 seconds, I was like, I need this. This is the greatest thing I've ever played in my life. I remember playing on Princess Peach's castle. I think I started playing as Peach, and I was just so mind blown. Like, oh my god, I can't even describe how happy I was playing this.
And Nathaniel Bandy's obsession with the pink gold Peach began on that day. Your
No.
your your love of original Peach started there.
Uh,
I can
oh
map
god.
your YouTube journey back to that fateful day. No, sorry, continue with what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I couldn't play the game for that long. Like I only played it for like 15 minutes, and then my parents, they found me, so we had to go back home. And I remember telling them in the car, I was telling them about this game. Obviously, they probably had no idea what I was saying, except that they knew what Smash Bros. Melee was, but they didn't know what the game was about. And that's all I talked about for months and months and months. And then for Christmas that year, I got a GameCube, Monkey Ball 1, Super Mario Sunshine, and Mailee. And I actually ran
Wow.
up and hugged my parents, which is a big deal because when I was young, I was very, very unaffectionate. I did not like touching people. I did not like hugging or kissing. I didn't do any of that stuff when I was younger. But I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And I actually gave my parents a hug.
Aw,
It was actually my sister that suggested to get me the GameCube. So shout outs to my sister. She got me
aw,
into playing Melee.
that's
So
awesome. Uh,
yeah.
One thing really cool about Melee. Well, I mean, like, okay, so there's a lot of really cool things in terms of just such a big step up from 64 in graphics, in character roster, in stages, in modes. There was an adventure mode and a classic mode. There was a crazy hand and regular master. Like, there was a lot going on in Melee. But one of the cooler things was that there was a ton of stuff to unlock. Like in the original Smash, there was 4 unlockable characters and 1 unlockable stage. But in this one, like, so many characters had to be unlocked and so many stages had to be unlocked. And I mean, I don't know about you, but the most like infamous one around my friend group was Mewtwo, because you had to leave the game on
Hmm.
for like what, over 24 hours. You
I
had to
think it was
do
20 hours.
Yeah, you,
Yeah.
you had to do some like ludicrous thing, and so it was like this big urban legend. It's like, oh man, do you have Mewtwo? Yeah, how do you do it? Oh, I don't really know. And like, oh, it was a big talking point, and like you didn't even know if you'd completed how complete you were on the roster. The internet was still young, and we were still a younger age, so it's not like our instant thought would be to look everything up on the internet. But that was like a big deal, trying to figure out what characters, what stages, like, is this in the game, is that in the game? That was huge. Do you have that experience?
Yeah, I have a somewhat similar experience. I remember when I first got the game, like you, I didn't really look up how to unlock characters. I was just kind of unlocking them. Like, I think the first one I got was Luigi.
Yeah.
Because I played adventure mode.
Yeah,
And just by accident, in the first world, you have to end with the digit 2 on the timer or something like that. And I unlocked Luigi by complete accident. I didn't realize you had to do that for the timer. And after a few months, I still saw question marks on the roster. I didn't know how to do it. So again, back to my friend Aaron, he had Mailee as well. He got it that same Christmas. He was like, yeah, you can unlock Mewtwo. And I was like, what? How do you unlock Mewtwo? And he showed me this website. And what I did to unlock all the characters was basically, I just played a bunch of versus matches. Like if you played 1,000 versus matches, you were able to unlock all the characters. So that's the way that I did it. Like one day over winter break, or maybe it was spring break, I don't remember. It was over some break. I just spent like 8 hours just doing a bunch of versus matches, like dying, restarting, and just unlocking all the characters. Well, speaking of characters, what was your favorite?
Oh, man. Well, I was very happy that there was a young Link, because I like playing as Link, but he's a little clunky. So, yeah, I always thought that was really cool. I mean, it's a little lame that there's like 2 versions of him, but it worked out for me, because he was like my favorite. What about you? What was your favorite character?
Definitely still Fox. This is the game where I really fell in love with Fox. I did actually warm up every game by playing as Dr. Mario. I don't know why I did that. I actually still do that just because it's like a personal tradition of mine. Play Dr. Mario first stage and then Fox. Nothing else but Fox. I don't play any of the other characters. I don't like them. I am
Fox only.
Fox
only.
Fox only. Final Destination. Any favorite stages?
Yeah, I really like Princess Peach's castle. It's a little hard to think about favorite stages when it comes to Smash Bros. Because there's a lot of like cross between games. Like, I don't remember exactly what was in Melee versus what was in Brawl or whatever. But Peach's castle, I know it's not in the current games at least. So that one was really cool. Just the way the stage is set up, where there's just a big thing in the middle that separates 2 sides of the stage. And it's a relatively big one. And Pokemon Stadium was a really cool concept, just like that the arena kind of changed and, okay, you could have an actual Pokemon battle. It was really cool. What about you?
Yeah, I'm probably going to say Peach's Castle, definitely. Pokemon Stadium. I liked Corneria as well. And Hyrule Temple. That stage was so fun. Still fun to play to this day. Mm-hmm. Like, it's interesting because, like, Brawl and Smash 4 have tried to make temple stages. Like, in Brawl, there was New Pork City, the Earthbound stage. It was way too big. Smash 4, there's the Palutena stage.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. That stage, it was bigger than New Pork City. I don't understand why they made the stage so big. And then for Smash 4, there's also the Great Cave Offensive, or the huge Kirby stage, the awful one.
Hyrule
Temple is nice.
It's like the best of the big stages. Also, I got to throw a mention out to Pokefloats. It's not like strictly my favorite stage, but I love it. I know Nate hates it. Nate's a hater. But
okay. Yeah, so I made a top 10 about the worst Melee stages, and I tried to make it objective, and I put Pokefloats on there only because it's not. I love the stage. Just letting you know, for anyone, a lot of people dislike that video. They did not like it. I was looking at it from an objective standpoint. Please.
Continue.
No, I like the stage, but it's not that great to play on. You can't lie.
It is true. It's a gimmick stage.
It's a big mess.
That's why it's not like my favorite stage, but it's a fun. It's also like a complete random stage. It's just weird. Like, it's a weird stage. You're on giant versions of Pokemon that are just like bouncing in and out of frame, sometimes completely randomly. But I think it was like they wanted to try to incorporate as many Pokemon as they could into the game. And they got Pokeballs, they got playable characters. Let's just make a stage that's just nothing but Pokemon.
Any, like, favorite, out of all the game modes in the game, what was your, like, outside of just, I guess, like, just playing the regular game, what's your favorite thing to do? Like, did you really enjoy adventure mode or collecting the trophies or anything like that?
I like collecting the trophies. My, like, collectionist tendencies. I like the trophies. Adventure mode was really cool because it was like, wow, you get to play, like, here's, I don't know, Princess Peach in like a Zelda game, like for a stage, and here's Dr. Mario in a Mario stage. It's not really that impressive, but you know what I mean. The cool like mix and match vibe, because that was, it's kind of easy to forget, but like one of the things about Smash Bros is that it's a crazy crossover, and it's in fact like one of the very few from Nintendo. I mean, they do some other crossover-y stuff, but this is like the big one. And so to kind of use those elements to really utilize them instead of just, here's characters that fight each other on stages. Here's like, well, here's a whole stage that's designed to be like a Mario level, except, you're playing with whoever. It's really cool. What about you? What's your favorite mode? Or what do you like about the modes?
Well, like you, when I was a kid, I really enjoyed trying to collect all the trophies. I had like over 90% of them or something. Like there was a phase where I was actually using a website and just trying to figure out how to unlock all the trophies. And some of them were really hard or just really time consuming. Like play classic mode with every character or adventure mode with every character just to get one trophy.
You also had to have Pikmin on your card.
Your save file.
Yeah,
and I didn't have the money, and I didn't know what the heck a Pikmin was, so I never got that trophy.
Oh.
So is there anything about this game that you didn't really like?
The competitive scene. Oh, no.
Oh.
Competitive scene does get on my nerves a little bit, but I won't get into that.
Sorry, Carl. Don't take that too seriously.
No, I don't hate all the competitors. just some of the really diehard people can get really, really annoying. To be honest, I think Pichu is a really dumb joke character. Like, I know the point of him is a joke character, and I know it was, I guess, easier to program him because they already had Pikachu. But if you're going to do a joke character, I mean, like, Game & Watch is a cooler joke character, I think. What about you?
Game & Watch is interesting because he's completely all 2D.
No one expected Game & Watch. Game & Watch, no one knows, like, who, Mr. Game & Watch, who is he? What is he? I don't know. I mean, my little brain didn't know. That's the great thing
about Sakurai. You never know what he's going to put in that game. Like, Bayonetta and Smash 4, that came out of nowhere. It's really hard to find something I dislike in this game. This is probably my favorite Smash Bros. The only thing I guess I would say is that the adventure mode did get boring after a while because it's the same thing for every character. But at the same time, I played through adventure mode for all 25 characters. So I played it more times than I probably should have. I really wanted a trophy. So aside from that, like I really can't think of anything else that's bad about the game. I think it's the most solid Smash game still to this date. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Smash Bros. Brawl. So before we talk about the game itself, I thought we would talk a little bit about the Smash website and also the first trailer. So what were your experiences with that?